Hello and welcome back, and today I'm going to show you how to make a simplistic two-seater couch in Blender. First things first, I am just going to put on my screen keys so you can see what buttons I'm pressing. Oh, there it is, it's there. And then first, let's delete everything in our scene, like in our previous videos. Press A to select all, press X, and then delete. Let's bring in Shift A reference. Let's bring in a reference of a couch and let's just align that up better. So up here, press N on the keyboard, go to item X, we just want on the 90 rotation, 0 the Y, 0 the Z, and then that should be great. Let's just scale that up to about, I don't know, 3, and then just press GY and just push that back, GZ, and bring that up. There you go. So we have a nice big picture in the background just for a reference. So I'll press N to close the panel on our side there. And now let's begin. So press Shift A, go onto Mesh, go onto Cube, bring in a cube. We want to scale this cube up, so we want to scale X. Let's scale the cube, say about, say 6. And then I want to press S and Z and scale that down to say 0.4, something like that. And now we just want to go into edit mode. That's tabbed edit mode. Number 3 for face select. Select this face, GY. This is going to be the base of the chair. I'm going to do that 3 meters from the original start point. We're going to make this a nice, big, comfy two-seater chair. Don't worry about the size and proportion. As long as it looks like the object, you can always scale it down and resize it later on. So this is the base of the chair, and so what we're going to do on this is I'm going to do something a little slightly different. So this is going to be a low poly two-seater chair. So as we can see, we've got some nice edges, nice curved edges on there. So I'm going to select these two bottom faces and then press X and delete both of the sides. I'm going to now select the whole object and press Control B and then drag my cursor away. And as you can see, as I'm dragging away, this is bevel. So, and then I'm scroll wheeling up to increase and add edges in. So this is a nice little way sometimes just to add in some nice round edges before you hit smooth. I think this is just enough here. I'm going to say 0.5. You can press C on your keyboard. So after you bevel, you add in edge loops. If you don't want them crossing like this, if you press C on your keyboard, that will stop it from crossing over. But for now, let's just add in one edge loop, and I'm going to type in 0.5, and that looks good enough to me. Because if we then right click it and go shade smooth, that looks pretty decent, and it's very nice and low poly, so this can be used in mobile sort of apps, VR, or any game or industry sort of standards, which would be pretty cool to work with. You have lots of couches in your scene if you must, for whatever reason you'd like to build this couch for. Anyways, so now we've got our base settled, let's do the arms of the chair. So I'm going to select um, let's actually, I was just thinking about, yeah, I'm just going to extrude this side on the x-axis. So I've edge selected this and pressed E to extrude the edges. So I've extruded the edges, now I've pulled them along. I'm going to put -1. Yeah, actually, better idea. Let's bring in another cube. So Shift A, Mesh, Cube. Let's bring that to the end like so. And again, let's scale that along the y-axis. Sorry. Let's select the back of the cube and do what we similar did with the first one. So we can press G, Y, and we moved it about, I think it was 3 meters. That's about right. And then in edit mode, in object mode, sorry, we then scaled that on the z-axis, and we did scale that down. So I think it was a 0.4, but we want to then rise this top bit up, I'd say about roughly about 2.5, let's say. Let's just edge select this edge loop going around here and press Control X to dissolve, not delete, and then just select this face, and we're just going to push that face in because that's a bit too thick. Let's push it in about 0.8, 0. Yeah, 0.8 or 9. Yeah, 8 will do. Yeah, that's fine. Right, same again. We could also bevel the edges. This is because when you're using subdivision surface modifier, it adds in extra edge loops everywhere around the model. Because a couch is pretty much square, we can probably get away using beveled edges, and it will definitely help in the speed of your workflow. And if it's just something you want to keep nice and low poly, for really top performance in mobile sort of apps and games or on the VR platform. So I'm just going to press GX and just move that up slightly. We can snap it. So I'm going to go to edit mode. I'm going to select this vertex. Up here, I'm going to change to vertex select. And I'm going to also select from closest to active. Make sure my active is selected. And then I press GX, hold control, and that will snap to the side of the base bottom couch. So the edges we want to bevel on this, we can select it all, go to edge select number 2, press Control B, and we can literally bevel the whole object. Let's put in, say, 2 edge loops. We can get away with 1 edge loop, keeping it nice low as possible. I want to say put that 0.5. What does that look like? Okay, 0.25. I think I like that. That looks slightly better. I can right click and shade smooth, and you can see that's not too bad. Okay, so on back we want to make the backboard. So I was thinking maybe we can duplicate this bottom bit and put that up as the back. So I'm going to click on this in object mode, Shift D, just bring it up on the Z axis, and then left click to confirm. Press press R to rotate. Rotate on the X axis. Let's rotate that minus 90 degrees. And then press G and Z. Oh, sorry, G and Y. Push that back like so, and then press G and Z and just bring that up slightly. You can see it's coming at the bottom, no problem. We can press scale on the Z axis and we can just scale that like so. Of course, this is scaling from the origin point. So what we could do is be a little bit more mathematic here. Go into edit mode, select all, double click on the vert, that's the bottom vert, and GZ, snap it to the bottom of the verts on the base here. And then what we could do is face select this bottom face is our selection. And now if I press scale on the z-axis, nope, sorry, up here, we are currently on the median point. Let's go on to the active element. So as our face selection here is our active element, we can scale on the z-axis, and as you can see, it pushes everything up and down because we've selected the whole object as well. So now we can actually resize this. I'm going to say roughly about there. That's fine, I think. Yeah, that looks good to me. I think that might be in the back a bit too much, but that's not a problem. What we could do is we could select both of these objects. I'm going to select the front here, and then again, actually if we join these objects together, join, then and then go into edit mode, select the front face, get everything selected, and just press scale on the Y, and we can just squish it up a little bit and put that in line with the armrest. just something like that. Yeah, that looks good enough. That looks good to me. I may be using a few different tools than you might be used to. Don't worry. Um, I'll try and explain my best as I go along. This side and this side, there is, oops, go behind the reference picture now. This side and this side, we need to fill in the faces. So we'll just edge select and press F. And now we do have, however, we do have a giant end gun now. So the only reason about putting in bevels, if we're doing it on certain edges, is you may have to manually fill in the edge loops in certain circumstances. So when we select this, I'm going to press /. That'll hide everything and leave anything that I have selected. So what I'm going to do is join that to that one, press J, that to that one, press J. As long as you're making quads, that's not a problem. So I'm just pressing J to join them up like so. And then as you can see, the shadow and the tearing, that means the vertices are not set correctly at an angle. So you just press A to select all, Alt N to bring up your normals menu, and then reset your vectors. And that should normally fix it. But sometimes it could be because your normals could be inside out as well. But that's not the case either, so that's okay. And then sometimes you may need to just reset your position. So applying transforms, in this case, it's fixed that um, the chair so far. So that's good. Right, so let's press /, bring back the arm piece. So with the armrest, I'm going to press Control A. I'm going to reset the location. Actually, I'm going to just do reset all transforms, and then go over to the modifier, add modifier, go to generate mirror. So that will now mirror on the other side, because when we reset transforms, origin goes in the middle, which we know this is exactly slap in the middle. So that's very good. So we know it's bang in the middle. We will be adding seams on, so to make the textures nice in Substance Painter in just a bit. We can see a bit of overlap it, like a bit of edge there. Not a problem. I think I might just hide this. And even though I deleted these sides at the beginning, I think I'm going to put them back on and just join these up just for now. Might remove them later on to save up some poly space, but I think that is fine for now. I'm going to press Control R, and I am actually going to do it on both of these objects. I'm going to go to face select, and I'm going to delete and remove these faces because I want to mirror the whole couch from the left side over to the right side. So again, press, oops, not /. I hid this one last time. That is fine. I will just cancel the mirror for now. So when I do mirror this across from this side and the armrest over to the other side, it would be symmetrical, and so will the seams and the UV map that I will be doing. So let's bring out an extra window now. Let's do some UV editing. I will bring out another window. This will be used later on. The shader editor. That's for the materials. I may touch on it in this lesson. This is the materials. When I click new, as you can see, your shader editor, new material, principles, BSDF appears, and then yeah, that can be applied like so. So for now, I'm just going to minus that material and just focus on the UV unwrapping and then mirroring it across. Depending on what you're making the asset for, you can have overlapping UVs, and if you want to bake lighting onto it, just make sure you create a second separate UV map, which then can take your light map data if you're baking it in, for example, Unity. And then in Unity, it will take your second UV light map that you can create under here, under your data tab, under your UV map. So you can have this as your texture map, and then you can have this one as your UV map. You can call it whatever you like. You can call it light map, you can call it texture map, you can call it whatever you like. Okay, so here we are. We have the arm of the chair here. I do like to add in, I will add in a material, and I do like to image new. I like to make a color grid, so I'm just going to call this, oops, C grid, and I like to also view it in 4K. So then I'll go change the generated type from blank to color grid and click new image. Here is our image. This is just an example image. Up here on the viewport and shading, we can click the drop down and then go over to texture, and then we can go back up to over here, and you see where the image we've created C-grid, this little icon here, you can click and drag and drop that in here into your material, and you can see these textures now taking form onto your object you created. However, by the looks of it, it's it's not right, so we need to add some UV seams in to make it look better. So let's add those UV seams in. I'm going to select this edge loop going around here, and or should I do the bottom one? I'll do this bottom one here. I'll just select that, and then right click, mark seam, and then I'm going to select that little one here there, hold control and select that top one. So I'm going to select all of these going around like so. So if you imagine a box or a cereal box of UV unwrapping, if you keep that in mind, like this should work very nicely. So I've now put UV seams on there. So let's just reset transforms. Sometimes when the UVs don't take effect, that will be because the transforms might not be reset. We're going to press U, reset, and then U again and unwrap. So there you go. So we've got an okay, decent UV unwrapping here. However, it is a 45 angle degree. I don't like that. So I'm just going to very quickly, by the way, you can just like quickly press R and rotate 45 degrees, or you can manually just rotate it to however you like it. You can press face select in this, number 3, and you can press L on each island, and you can move each individual island if you need to. I'm just going to rotate that 45 degrees, place it up there. So as we have here, I do use a little add-on called UV Pack Master. I won't go into that now. I'm just going to change the margin to that, and then I'm just going to hit pack. So I'm just going to leave it like that just for now for the purpose of this video. Just to show you, actually I'm going to rotate that 180 degrees because I want the text to be showing correctly on the right way up. Now the top, that's fine. Sides, yeah, that's not too bad. That's good. I like that. So as you can see, now the texture looks quite nicely. It fits on there. There's no obscure sort of like tearing or jaggedness. Maybe a little bit there. That might be because yeah, okay. So you can always tinker around with it. If you're not too happy with it, there are other ways you could seam it. You could put edge loops in different places, or if you just look at your image, you can actually put edge loops where the seams are on your couch. So like on that one, that's actually going all the way around. So we could potentially add that one and that one on there, like so. And we could press A, U, reset, unwrap, and then rotate 180 degrees. We'll get that facing the right way. I'll just quickly use my Pack Master, UV Pack Master, and place the islands. And there you go, that's better. It looks more straight to me. There you go. That's fine. So, yep, depending on how you want your seams, you can look at your reference image, place your seams where you think that look good. Also, just bearing in mind, the bigger your islands, the more area you can fill using textures. For example, if it's a 4K texture, you can get a lot on an island on an entire UV map if it's a 4K texture. And if you don't want too much blurriness, that'd be fine. If you're using 1K textures and say your islands are like teeny tiny like this, and you're using a 1K texture, chances are, if there's anything high detailed, it would be blurry. So always nice to use big island spaces like this. So I can go more over that in my Discord, and feel free to reach out and ask me in Discord. I'll be going over that as well later on in my lessons that I bring out on YouTube. Yeah, I think I like that at the moment. We can just select this. I'm going to rotate actually. I'm going to rotate that 180 degrees. I like the text. I'm a little bit picky sometimes. I like the text all facing the right way up if I'm looking at it on the side. Same with this text. I can just rotate that 180. I'm not too bothered about underneath. But yeah, that looks good to me. Alright, okay. Looks good. So, I'm now going to do the same on this part as well before we add the cushions on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select this edge loop here and these edge loops here right in the back. Looks a little tricky. You may not quite see what I'm selecting. It's actually I'm selecting this side here like this. So I'm going to press number 2, select that, mark seam. So we've got one edge loop going along here. Sorry, not edge loop, a seam. And we've got two seams going up here. I might just add actually a mark seam on that side. And then I'm going to do the same going around here. And mark seam. And I do need one there. So I'll mark seam on that one as well. So that's going across. Oh, and I missed one there. So yeah, if you ever UV and unwrap and it's tearing, so there's a few things to check if it's tearing. Have you marked all the seams correctly in the right places? Just think of it as a flat packed box, unpacking. Is your texture um, gonna be straight? You can always tell by the UV editor. So we'll select each one. So I'm going to select that one. Actually, okay, I've missed that little side there. I think that's gone inside there. There you go. Mark seam. There we go. So I'm going to press number 2 for edge select. I'm going to press L on this object. When you press L and it's on face select, if it's got seams on, you'll only select inside the seams. If you press number 2 for edge select and you select the whole object, it selects all your edges, ignoring the seams. So sometimes it's good to select the whole object when you press the seams, edge select, sorry, when you're using the seams. So you reset, you unwrap. So here we are, we've got a nice little unwrap here. We're just going to use the material number 2 because that's from our armchair. We'll change these for different textures if I need to, but for now I'm just going to keep this the same. That looks pretty good for me already. I think that looks good. Yeah, that looks good. And then the one at the back, just press number 2, select that, and just press U, reset, U, unwrap. And then again, that looks pretty good actually. Of course, if you're going to duplicate an item, I probably would have done this before I added the back on it, add the seams in, and then duplicated this, and then you'll see and then they overlap with the UVs here. They would do if you duplicated it. Depending on what you're going to do at the end, on the end of the object, you can either have them overlapping or non-overlapping, depending on what project you're using, depending on what engine you're going to upload it into. But I think texture space, when it comes to texturing, the lower the resolution of the texture, but if you can make it really pop and stand out with overlapping UVs, it does help in some projects. It really is sometimes personal preference on what order you or what you prefer to do. So I won't go too into that right now. So yes, I like the look of that so far. I think that's absolutely fine for now. Yeah, that's good. Right, so press forward slash, bring back the other arm. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to join these together like so. Press Control A, reset all transforms, go to my modifiers, go to add modifier, generate mirror. Now as you can see, it's duplicated everything from the left to the right, including the UV maps. There's nothing inside, there's no clipping or anything. That's good. A little bit of clipping on the end there, but that's just because that's the chair, the bottom bit of the chair going into the armchair. That's fine. You can remove that if you need to. I've left it there because there'll be a bit here showing. Right, okay, so on to the cushions. Let's have a look. Let's select our couch, press tab into edit mode. I'm going to face select and select this face here. I'm going to press Shift D to duplicate this face, and then just right click to cancel, and then right click again and go to separate selection. We're going to have that as a separate object, as you can see up here. Tab into object mode again, click on our cube 001. We're going to turn off the modifier, the mirror modifier for now. I'm going to turn that off completely. Close it down. I'm just going to press GZ, bring that up a little bit. Left click to confirm, then add the modifier, generate the subdivision surface modifier. Going to leave it on the levels of viewport on 1. I'm just going to go into edit mode, face select, and then press E to extrude, and just bring that up to about 0.75. On edge select, go select the edge select, then hold Control R to add an edge loop in. I'm going to add in 2 edge loops like so. Left click to confirm, right click to cancel. Then I'm going to press scale on the x-axis, scale that off to the end, so roughly about 2.5. And then we want to add in more edge loops, so I'm going to press Control R again, add in 2 more edge loops going around this way. So move your cursor next to this edge line, and you can add 2 more in here. Left click to confirm, right click to cancel. Scale down to scale on the Y, stretch that out 2.5 again, like so. This time I'm using subdivision surface modifier instead of beveling the cushions. You can bevel the cushions if you wish. I just want to use subdivision surface because I want to use something different for the purpose of this video, just to show you that you can use subdivision surface modifier on every part of this chair just as well, which could be just as quick as adding in bevel. So let's go into object mode. Let's press G and Z. We'll bring that down a little bit, not too far. Right, I want to scale that up a bit because the cushion looks a bit too small. I'm going to press S to scale. I want to go to medium point, switch that to back to medium point from previously. Our cursor, the origin point is down there, over there on the right. So just go into edit mode, select all, and then press scale. Just scale that up. Let's just see. Let's scale that up on the minus the x-axis because we don't want that to overlap on the x-axis. So to do that, you can press scale shift X, and you can then scale the cushion up like so without it, and have it coming off the edge maybe a little bit, make it a little bit more realistic. You can press GY and bring that off, maybe somewhere about there. Okay. So the reason I didn't use subdivision surface I'll scale that down actually on the Y a little bit, like so. And then GY, just push that in like that. Because if we go into tab, we're looking at it like this. If I confirm the subdivision surface, so we're only using one level of viewport. So Control A to hover over the top, or just click the drop down to apply. If we go into edit mode, as you can see, we've got a lot of edge loops on. The edge loops aren't really needed. However, what we could do is you can manipulate the cushion. You can grab these vertices. You could always put proportion tool in, G, Z, and scroll wheel, and you can make like a little dent into the couch if you wish. You can really modify this like so, make the couch look a little more realistic. There you go, just so it's got some little bits of lumpiness to it. Or if you wanted to, you could actually add creases into it. I'll go over that in a later video using the sculpt tool with more topology on, and then retropologizing and or quad remeshing it down so it's nice and low poly. So for now, you can play about with it. I'm just going to leave it as it is. I'm going to press tab, press Control A into bring up all transforms and reset that. And then I'll go over to my modifier and go add modifier and then generate mirror. So we can now generate the mirror onto the other side, and then we're going to hide it actually, because looking at this we need to add in some seams so the UV map would look better on here. So looking at the picture, we can add the seams. You can see where we can add the seams. There's a bit of a bulge, and that's okay. We can actually, let's make a little bit of a bulge. I'm going to select these two edges. I'm going to make sure the proportion tool's on, GZ. I'm just going to bring that up a little bit. Well, what you could do is actually select faces and then bring that up without bringing the whole thing up. You could just bring it up a little bit like this. There are other ways of doing this. You can inflate using cloth physics. There are very similar ways to do this as well. So I'm just going to do something like that for now. Actually, I'm just going to Control Z. I like the way that was. There you go, that's not too bad. Okay, so I'm just going to press number 2 for edge select. Right, let's select the cushion where you see where we can see the seams. So let's select the top half here. I'm just going to go to object mode and / so we can isolate the whole cushion. And as you can see, we've actually got already some seams on here. That's absolutely fine. We can use those seams as we can go all the way around like so. And that can be like that. So then all we have to do is UV unwrap this. Before we do, I'm just going to press tab into object mode, see where the couch is. I like to hide my seams as much as I can. So as this is the back of the couch, let's put seams here and here. And then just mark seam. This will just help separate the islands as you can pack as much space in the UV editor as possible. So selecting all, press U, reset, U, then unwrap again. Okay, so I'm going to press tab, go back to / and then look at our cushion. Okay, so now we'll just make sure we have all the seams in this. After we've UV unwrapped, we just check the tiles. I just like to, let's put this, rotate the islands in here 90 degrees, R then 90. Actually, R then -90. I just like things to be the right way up, like so. And then I'm not too bothered about underneath because you can't really see underneath. To save up some space, sometimes the topology is always good. Sometimes if the cushions aren't going to be moved in your scene, you can actually remove the faces that you can't see to lower the topology down even more. And obviously when you duplicate that asset many times, it does take into effect. So even if it's like a handful of polys, it can help your project and your performance. So I'm going to select this cushion. I'm going to press number 2 for edge select. I'm just going to quickly just UV Pack Master, hit pack, and just close that. It's just it is a mod. It is an add-on. It is a paid add-on. But for now, no problem. You can just move your islands in here and just place them in the center. I do recommend UV Pack Master. Not that I'm promoting it or anything. I just generally really like it because it just makes your workflow much quicker. So here we are. We have a cushion, and now we want to duplicate that 3 times because we want to make that come over here, and we're going to use them for the back as well. So like on here. Now we are going to go over here onto mirror. We're going to make that visible, and then we've got a big gap in the middle there. So I'm actually going to go into edit mode, and I think I'm going to scale that up on the x-axis. Let's scale on the. Oh, let's turn that proportion tool off. Don't forget that because that could cause problems. I'm not going to turn clipping on because I don't want them to clip. Just want them to overlap slightly like so. That's better. That's much better, I think. Maybe just hold shift, scale X. Yeah, that'll do. Right, before we duplicate this next, I'm just thinking I want to use up as much space of this UV map as possible. To do that, let's add in a few more extra seams because we will be using a fabric, and the fabric does blend nicely into seams. So I'm going to select all, press U, reset, U, unwrap. There we go. Now we're covering more of the surface in the UV editor, which looks much better. Let's just rotate that 90 degrees, and I'm not too bothered about this being upside down. It's not going to really affect much on the UV mapping space, but we can just have the front up the right way. That's not a problem. Let's select all, press N in here, and just use UV Pack Master to pack all our tiles together. So they're nice and tight. They use up the average scaling. Sometimes you might need to use average island scale to bring all your islands to the average. So when you're using the texture, they're all the same size. Okay, so that looks like it's using up as much space as possible. Sometimes you may want to rotate using the UV Pack Master and setting the rotation degrees. I can talk about more about this later on, but for now, I think this is looking good. This looks alright. So I'm going to go back into object mode. I'm just going to press Shift D and press Z to bring that up, because we're going to now put this onto the back of the couch. Let's rotate that on the x-axis. Let's rotate that, say, would be 90 degrees, but let's just do 80 degrees, and then we're going to press, let's just hold Alt, and I'd like to middle mouse button drag to get the orthographic view of the blender on the side. So GY, let's push that back. Okay, the rotation maybe, I might rotate that a little bit less actually, like so. GY, just push that on the back there. Okay, that don't look too bad. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that, I think, for now. If the couch looks a bit too small or short, no problem. You could always grab the front of it and extend and pull it out. Sometimes though, when you do that, you might stretch the UVs and then you might have to edit them. Sometimes it's always good to leave the mirror modifier onto the very end in case you need to make any edits at the end of making your model or throughout your model. Then it's very easy to come back and then change your mistakes that you make. I always make hundreds of mistakes. And you come back and then you can change and update them. So let's make the little feet now on the end of on the couch. I'm going to select this edge I'm going to press Shift S and cursor to selected. So the cursor will now snap to that edge. I'm going to press Tab and deselect. Right, I'm going to press Shift A. I'm going to bring in a cube. So, and then I'm just going to scale that cube down to about the size of what a foot might be. Say 0.2. That's going to be the base, and then what I'm going to do is press GY. Let's push that back a little bit. We know that's kind of in line because we snapped it to that edge, so I quite like that. That's not too bad. GZ, just bring that down a little bit. I'm going to go to edit mode, face select this bottom face, and then just press E to extrude. Bring that down to about 0.3. Yeah, that'll do. And then I'm just going to scale that end face to go into so it looks like a wooden foot for the couch. Okay, that don't look too bad. I'm just going to remove this top face, select it all and press GZ and just bring that down just like that. I'm going to select this bottom face and then press number 2 for edge select, right click, mark seams, and then I'm going to select these two edges and also now mark seams. So that is the way how it's going to unwrap. The top doesn't need to be marked because it's an open face, so that would by default will automatically unwrap on those edges. So press A to select, then press U, reset, then U, unwrap. So this is what the UV map looks like. If I click onto our materials again and select, I think that's this one, there you go. As you can see, it is a bit twisted and a bit off center, so that's not a problem. What we could do is actually, instead of putting 2 seams along here, we could actually clear that seam and we can add 3 seams around here. Right click, mark sharp, so we've got all the way going around on the bottom diagonal edge. Select all, U, reset, U, unwrap. There you go. You can make certain patterns with your UV map, and if you do have tearing like this, no worries. Sometimes all you need to do is just go back into object mode, press Ctrl A, reset transforms, and then just reset your UVs and unwrap again. Okay, this is actually tearing. Yeah, this doesn't like this because it is trying to unwrap going all the way around. So actually, what we could do is just select all the edges to make, if this was going to be a nice wood texture. Again, it's not really going to be seen much because it's down near the floor, so I wouldn't spend too much time worrying about this personally. So, but just for the reference of the video, there you go. Now we have a nice UV unwrapped. We can have it all the grains facing down. When it comes to like wood, just if you have a look at the grain texture and stuff, um, how the wood is applied in the real world, you can see and you can actually map your UV map to exactly the way the wood is running when you add the texture on. So I'm just going to press A to select all my UV maps in there. We're just going to pack it, turn rotation off because I've rotated it on here. So there you go. So we've got it like that. Yeah, that's not too bad. I think that's the best that we can do for this. We can actually go onto rotation, change this to 180, and then pack. It might actually, yeah, there you go. So it's done top to bottom. However, it's going sideways, but so we can just rotate that 90 degrees, then turn rotation off and then pack again. Yeah, okay, it's not quite done what I thought it was going to do. Yeah, that's not a problem. As long as it's all going sideways, it's all going one way. So when you apply a texture, as long as the grain's going all one way, it doesn't matter if it's up, down, left to right on the texture pattern on here. That's why I like to use color grids so I can see which way it's going to appear. So now we've done that and the origin point is set to the middle. Let's go back into object mode and go to add modifier, generate a mirror. So that's mirrored it on the other side. And now I'm just going to press Shift D to duplicate and then press Y to push these to the back. I'd say about 4 meters. Yeah, that looks about right. Yep, that looks good. We could put, let's put 2 in the middle as well. So I'm going to apply this mirror. I'm going to apply this mirror. I'm going to select both of these 2 objects and then just join them together. Right click join or Control J. Go into edit mode. I'm going to click edge select. I'm going to select this, press an L, select this, press an L, press Shift D to duplicate. Move along the x-axis. I just get closer, so I'll just apply there. What I'll do is let's just press Control Z, put it back there. So GX and bring that about, I think it's about 6 meters. Let's just line this up a little bit. Oops, don't just press G to grab. Oops, I press Shift D and then bring that halfway along. Say 6.5. No, not 6.5. Just 6.7. 6.6. Looks about roughly halfway. Yeah, that looks about right. Okay, and then we press tab, go into edit mode, and there we have it. We have our lovely couch. Now, to apply different materials onto the couch, so this is going to be a leather couch. So we could do, we can either add everything together, or add everything together and apply the material on, which is what I would prefer to do. So I'm going to select these feet. They're going to be wood, so we're going to go to our material, click the plus, click new, and we'll call this wood feet. Just put abbreviation of the name in so we know what it is. I will click and drag the C grid, our color grid we use, and then go to edit mode, select all, press A to select all, and then assign, and then just remove that. So now we know that is assigned to the wood feet. So, and that's the only object separated as well. Now for the couch, this is going to be the same texture. It's going to be leather, and then all these 4 cushions are going to be also the same leather. So I'm going to call click the plus, click new, and again just call that leather cushion. Just hit enter, and then I'm going to select all again, and then assign. And as you can see, it's gone white because we didn't add the C color grid in. So again, just click and drag and drop that just above our BSDF. Tab to object mode, and then let's just remove that material. And then the last one, this material, so we'll just leave it as that material, and we'll just call it the leather couch. So that's just the leather couch itself. So when we have selected everything and we like everything and we don't need to make any more further adjustments, we could then start to apply the modifiers. And then once we have applied all the modifiers, we could then start selecting our objects, and we can either merge them all together or keep them separate. It's completely up to you. It's no problem. And when you do join them all together, you will see all your materials that you've created on separate objects will now merge together. So if I go into tab, and now as you can see, if I was to select leather couch, I hit the button here that says select, it's now selected the whole leather couch. Because of the mirror modifier, it would copy the material across as well. So then I click leather cushion, select. Now it's selected this leather cushion, but not the ones at the back. So not a problem, we'll just go to edge select this back cushion, press L again, and then assign leather cushion. So now if I then deselect that and click select, now you can see it's selecting that. And then wood feet, I just hit select, and now you can see the wooden feet of the couch has now been selected. So 3 materials, nice and easy. This would be nice and easy to pack together on one texture map, which I will be showing you later on how to do that in my further tutorials and videos in Blender. Okay, so this is the couch completed. We go back into object mode. If you like the way it is, all you have to do next is make sure you're in object mode. Let's rename it. Let's call it leather couch. Let's hit enter. Make sure the origin point, always make sure the origin point, I always like to make sure if it's a piece of furniture sitting, I like to make sure the origin point is actually on the ground. So when you do use it in later projects, actually I don't know why I did all 6 then, I could have just selected these two. Press Shift S, cursor to selected, tab, Control A, reset transforms, right click, set origin, origin to 3D cursor, and then we'll press N, and then up here, let's reset all the location. That will then just pop your couch up after doing this in here. And voila, we have our couch now sat on the floor, and that looks great. Let's just do one last reset transformed, and now it's ready to export into either Substance or your scene in Unity or wherever you need to send it. We can just go up here to File, Export, FBX. So I just like to make sure the same name of the mesh name up here is the same name as the FBX wherever I'm exporting it. Selected objects, always tick that because make sure that's selected, and then just hit export. And voila, you are done. Now you have made a lovely couch in Blender. Let me just turn the texture off. Let's put cavity on. There you go, put a little bit more in depth. So that looks fantastic. You can right click and shade smooth. The legs will also go shade smooth, but not to worry. Probably because before we mirrored these, would have been a good idea maybe to hit. We can actually just select all of these. I'm holding Shift, Control, and Alt, and just selecting all the edges. And what we're going to do is right click on edge select and then just mark sharp. There you go. So we just mark them sharp, and then of course we need to actually select the bottoms and mark them sharp as well. So I'll just quickly do that. Oops, that's very tiny. Oh, come on, I can't even click that. And there you go, mark sharp. There you go. So we can have that mark sharp, and then the rest of it can stay nice and smooth. So there you have it, a nice simple plain low poly easy to make couch that is under 1500 tries, nice and easy. So when you export that as a FBX file, that will take it into tries. So 710 faces, 744 verts. Your information is down here on the right hand side. We've got 3 materials, so what we will do with those 3 materials, we'll now bring it into Substance Painter, put some materials on, bake the materials, bring the couch back into Blender, add the materials on, and then probably bake it all together into one texture map, which I will happily show you how to do this in a later video. So for now, thank you for watching. Just to let you know, every Monday I'm doing free Blender lessons. Feel free to drop by in my Discord. I'll leave the link in the description below in YouTube. Check it out and like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I hope I've helped you.